Hello guys, I welcome you to this informative course on JavaScript that we have built keeping the future scope in mind. We are learning different fun concepts of JavaScript, and right now we are diving deep into the function concept in JavaScript. So in today's lecture, we will be learning about a function or method called split. But before moving further, let us see the agenda of today's lecture. At first, we will see the definition of split. Then, what are the parameters of split? After that, there are examples of split method with detailed explanations. And at the end, there is an assignment that you have to solve. So what are we waiting for? Let us get started. So, what is a split method? Split method is used to split the given string into an array of strings by separating it into substrings using a specified separator provided in the argument. Basically, this method takes a string and breaks it into small pieces and assigns them to an array. Syntax: str.split, separator, comma, limit. As you can see in the syntax, there are two parameters, and first is a separator and the second one is a limit. Let us see what each of them does. Separator. Now it is optional. It specifies the character or the regular expression to use for splitting the string. If we remove this parameter, the entire string will be returned, an array with only one item. Limit. This also is optional, an integer that specifies the number of splits. Item after the split limit will not be included in the array. Let us see one example without removing the parameters. Let us look at the browser. So we got the output, how are you? Let us see the code. Here we have created one string, str, and assigned a message to it. Then we used the split function on that array. As you can see, there are two parameters. First is a separator and the second is the limit. As you know, the limit decides how many splits will happen. That is why only 3 words are in the output. Let us see one example without any parameters. Now let us look at the output. It is, how are you doing today? In the code, we have not given any parameters, so we get the whole string as it is. This is how we use the split method on string. Now here is an assignment for you. My str is equal to welcome to the world of JavaScript. Use both the parameters and split the string using split. So guys, we are talking and learning about the different ways that we can use functions. It is very important for all of you to know the exact use and the outcome of using a function in a program. And we are trying to make those steps easier for you. So there is no need to worry at all. Alright then, let us get started with the lecture. So today we are going to learn about a very interesting method, which is reduce method. But before moving forward, let us see the agenda of today's lecture. We will see the definition and syntax of reduce method. Then we will learn what each of the parameters in the reduce function does. After that, we will see some important points to remember when we use the reduce method. Then we will have an example of this method, and at last you will be having an assignment. So, what is a reduce method? Well, the reduce method reduces the given array into a single value by executing a reducer function. The user implements the reducer function that works on every element present in the array. Syntax of the reduce method is arr.reduce callback accumulator current value current index array initial value. There are a number of parameters present. Let us see what each of them does. Callback. The main is the callback function that executes for each element, excluding the first, if no initial value is specified. Now the callback has these 4 arguments. Accumulator. It builds up the return values of the callback function. returned in the last calling of the function. Current value. It is the value of the current element which is being processed. Current index. It is an optional argument that holds the index value of the current element that is being processed. If we provide the initial value, indexing will begin from 0. Otherwise, it will begin from 1. Array. It is also optional, which carries the elements on which the reduce will work. Initial value. It is the first argument value used in the first invocation of the callback function. It returns the single value. So remember these important points. If we do not provide the initial value, the callback function will start its execution with index as 1, where it will skip the first index. Although if initial value is provided, execution will begin from 0. In case of an empty array with no initial value is supplied, it will throw a type error. If the array is empty but initial value is provided, or if the array contains one element but no initial value has been supplied, then that element will return without invoking the callback function. So it is safe and good to provide the initial value. Let us look at the example where we have used the reduce function. Let's see the output, and it is 29. As we discussed in the definition, the reduce function reduces the array to one single value. Here we have created one array called number having elements 20.5, 2.3, 1.1, 4.7. Then we applied the reduce method on the array where we provided two arguments. First is a callback function called getSum, and second is the initial value. In the getSum, we used the total and math.round that rounds up the number. So this program adds the elements from the array and reduces them into a single value. Well, this is it for today's lesson, guys. Now here is an assignment for you. Use the reduce function and get the total on this array. My array equal to 3, 2, 5, 1, 7. As you know, you are learning JavaScript, and if you are getting errors and there is some confusion, don't worry. You can take our help anytime. So let us dive into today's lesson. Well, sometimes you have to deal with numbers in coding, and sometimes it might be possible that you use them incorrectly. When we enter an incorrect input, JavaScript will return NaN, that is, not a number. So JavaScript allows us to check if a number is valid or not with the help of a function that is called NaN. In today's video, we are going to talk about the function NaN. But before that, let us see the agenda. First, we will learn about the IsNan function, its syntax, parameter, and return value. Then we will have a detailed example with explanation, and after that, there is an assignment for you. So what exactly is IsNan function? The IsNan function determines whether a value is an illegal number, that is, not a number. This function returns true if the value equates to NaN. Otherwise, it returns false. Let us see the syntax of IsNan. IsNan value. The value is the parameter which we want to check. It returns a Boolean value. That means if it is not a number, it will return true or it will return false. Let us look at some examples of it. Let's look at the program and understand the concept. Here we have created a button and then a function called show. We assigned the show function to the on-click event of the button. Now look at the function. We have passed a number of values in the IsNan function and checked them. Now let us move on to the output. First we passed 1, 2, 3 and -1, 2, 3, which are obviously valid numbers. So the IsNan function returns false. Then we passed 5 - 2, which also returned false because this operation is also number type. After that, 0 and 1, 2, 3 are also numbers. Now here comes the twist. Hello is a string, so the IsNan function returns true. Hello is not a number. Then we passed an empty string and it returned false. Now you might be wondering how. Well, we have an answer for that. The empty string evaluates to 0, so the IsNan function returns false. After that, we passed true, whose value in the boolean is 1, so it returns false. Undefined is not a number. At last, we passed 0 upon 0, which is also not a number. Not only 0, but any number cannot be divided by 0. So, IsNan function returns true. Well, that is it for today's method, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. And here is an assignment for you. Check if 2005, 12, 12. This format is a number or not a number. I really cannot wait to meet you in the next lecture. Till then, take care and stay safe. Bye.